Most people would have quit. Meet Maxwell, a 9-to-5er who built an AI agency to $30,000 per month on the side. But what makes his story different isn't the money. It's what happened before he made it work. He hit walls, lacked confidence. He wasted an entire year doing the wrong things and barely taking action. And he nearly gave up until one shift changed everything. In this conversation, you'll learn exactly what that shift was, how he signed his very first client, his winning AI offer, and what he would do differently if he had to start over all again. Make sure to not miss out on this one. I cannot wait for the value you're going to get from it.
Yeah, I guess let's jump into it. Yeah, Maxwell is, I don't know, I think you're in Canada, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you want to give an introduction to, yeah, the people and just who you are and what you do at a very simple kind of level, maybe.
yeah, sure. So I grew up in the UK. That's where the accent's from. Moved to Canada in 2018. Was doing a lot of work with IT infrastructure and server equipment and that kind of stuff, like a regular day job. And I did that for a few years. And it kind of just was like, there was a career path, but it wasn't really going anywhere. And I started to feel like, surely I could do a better job if I was doing this on my own. And so that kind of led me down the path of entrepreneurship. And then AI started to boom around that same time, like GPT came out. Yeah. And very quickly I stumbled across your content, and then I realized, okay, yeah, this is like, if this kid can do it, I should be able to do it, right? Was my thoughts. Yeah. What I didn't know though is I had the technical skill set, but there were so many other skills that I just didn't have, that I didn't even know I didn't have. So I had to like just fall over again and again and get back up again and again, and realize just like it just the whole process really humbled and made me realize how much I don't know. But yeah, now I run an AI kind of like IT AI company. Got about 6 staff doing 30K across like 7 or 8 clients. It really, realistically, it only took me about a year to do that once I had kind of figured out the right pathway. But I think now, like looking back and doing a self-evaluation, there's a ton of mistakes I was making and still making, and there's a ton more things I need to do to kind of like scale that. So I have a better visibility, and yeah, I think that's a very high level introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty solid. Because I remember when we first like started working together, and you had the 9 to 5, and I think you were maybe trying to like squeeze in more maybe than you could handle, or it seemed a bit like hectic at that time. But I think over the year or 2 years you've been doing it, you probably gained clarity and a bit of a clearer vision on what you actually need to do, which is naturally what happens as you progress through your journey, right?
Yeah.
But let's go back a second. Like, if you could maybe make the offer simpler. So, like, what is your actual offer? Maybe in like a sentence, if you can do that. Like, we help X try and get X result or solve this problem, just for the viewers to know what's kind of working now in the AI space or around that.
Yeah, so niche down, we're basically core handling. So if you're a business operator in the health and wellness industry, we'll help you handle incoming calls and schedule client meetings with automation, and we'll make sure that you stay HIPAA compliant or GDPR compliant or whatever your compliancy requirements are. So we niche down specifically into that market because we built an app for a transcribing software for a doctor's office, and we had to go through the rigmarole of building out a compliant infrastructure and understanding the compliant requirements and that kind of thing. So that's why I niched down to health wellness, because it can already piggyback off of that.
Yeah, so it's basically booking calls through AI, like a inbound AI kind of. Is it an agent or?
Yeah, it's an AI agent that just like receives incoming calls and books in an available calendar for whenever the doctor's available. So it works really well across any kind of practitioner that has scheduling issues and doesn't want to keep picking up the phone.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how you managed to get like your first clients or your first few clients. I'm sure that's what a lot of people want. But if we talk about a bit more on the actual like AI kind of agents kind of topic, what do you use to deliver or your team, or because I think you mentioned you did an app as well, or yeah, I don't know if you want to go a bit more specific into that if you can.
Yeah, so it is actually now beyond my knowledge
Yeah.
and my full understanding. So I'm not going to be able to break down the tech stack very intelligently. I know we use some open source tools. We've switched between a few different tools. NAN is like some of the open source stuff that we looked at. Sorry, some of the no code stuff we looked at. We played around with like Stack AI and BotPress to kind of like pull in webhooks and Zapier and all the other tools, make.com, all the stuff that's out there. But now I actually have a full-time developer that spins up his own VPS server and like deploys code, and it's like that's above my skill set now. Like he breaks it down and explains it for me, so I have like some good core concepts and understanding.
Yeah.
But like I don't have the developer skill set now, so we're actually delivering like a bit more of a compiled product.
Yeah, which makes sense. As you scale, you obviously get talent to do the work,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
having all the hats in the business, trying to do marketing, trying to do sales, fulfillment. So it makes sense that you aren't sure, because it's happened with me. Like even when I
Yeah.
built like a SaaS or multiple SaaS companies, it's like, yeah, we obviously hire developers who can do full stack code, and that's like not what I kind of specialize in. When it comes to getting, let's say, your first client, I think you said in the health sector. I don't know if you remember how you got it, or yeah.
So I went through so many different. So the way I did it is not how I would recommend it.
Okay.
The way I'd recommend it is just to follow all the materials that you put out there.
Yeah.
Do the GoHighLevel course. Use GoHighLevel as your operating system for your business, and just do what Charlie says. Make a few cold calls, send the emails, keep doing it. Eventually, you'll get some clients. That's how I'd recommend you do it. It's not how I did it.
Yeah.
I struggled with. So I went in several different directions, and I think that probably slowed me down a lot. I can't really tell you exactly why. I think it's definitely like a psychological blocker that I had in terms of not really feeling comfortable. And it was, I mean, I'm 37 now. So I had been a daytime, like full-time gig employment guy for so long that stepping into a new, like outside my comfort zone was so foreign and strange that I constantly wanted to retreat back to some place where I felt comfortable. And so that was the biggest detriment. I am now kind of trying to learn from that mistake and pushing further and further out. It's easier now that I have cash flow and I have like room to fail. So I think there was a couple of things there. But that's how I recommend someone get a client. The way I did it was I really I went to a few different places. Oh man. So I sent 100. I remember I told you I sent 100 emails and I got like 2 replies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Charlie, I got 2 replies. And then I didn't do anything else for a week. And then obviously I like didn't follow up properly or whatever. And the thing is, I knew that I needed to, because I was also following like Alex Hormozy's content, and he's always like, do 100 of 100 of 100, and then you'll get there. And so I was in this constant battle of knowing that people better than me had done it and I should just do it that way, but then thinking, oh, maybe I can try it a different way and it'll work. So I can't tell you now if I had needed to have I needed to have done that and failed at doing it before I realized I needed to do it a different way. I don't know, like how much of it was a psychological thing versus methodology, but I'm rambling a little bit. But basically the second thing I did is I printed out some business cards and I just went up and down a residential area, like a commercial area, and just gave out my business cards, introduced myself, and kind of like showed the person that I was. So just basically like cold approach. And I had some kind of interesting contacts, and I got a referral from one of them. Was like, I'm not really interested in this stuff, but I have a friend who is. And then I met that guy, and because I had a career, I had matched with lots of people on LinkedIn, or I connected with lots of people, and we had a connection in common. And so we were talking about that dude. The 3 of us then got in a conversation, and he was like, yeah, Max kind of knows his stuff. You know, he's a technical guy. You should just see what he's offering. And so that kind of got me in the door. And I did a little bit of work for that guy, but it wasn't really that good. Like I was using the Stack AI, the bot press. It was really slow responding. The webhooks were free with like OpenAI's free API key. It was just not it was okay, but it wasn't that good. And then so I said, look, there's no point in me like keep charging you for this. It's not, I don't think it can do all the things you want it to do. So then what I did is I just shifted it to being a personality AI bot on his website. So that was the wrong order. So he introduced me to a different person, and this woman owned a toy store.
Yeah.
She was like selling toys, and then so they had a cat that lived inside the toy store, and it was a big store. It was like 2 conjoined buildings, and they had a cat that lived inside the store. So I was like, if I create an AI bot that lives, and this is like a year and a half ago, and when it was kind of like a gimmick that people wanted, it was like the cat would be the AI bot on your site that like kids and stuff could talk to and ask like when the store's open and just like basic business inquiries pretty much. And so I charged for that, and that kind of gave me enough of a reputation for her to introduce me to a few other people. And again, I probably fumbled a little bit there. I probably could have done a better job of following up and keeping leads warm and constantly demo valuing. I just kind of messed around with that. And then eventually I got, throughout this process, I was like constantly networking. I think that's the one thing that saved me, is just a networking thing.
Yeah.
I probably would have failed completely if I didn't do the networking, but through networking, I met a few different business owners. I went to a few different events. I joined a few Discords. I met some developers that were overseas that I could pay them like quite low hourly. And for them, it would be a lot. For me, it wouldn't be too much. It wouldn't burn that much. And I could figure out things with them. And yeah. So I answered your first question. That's how I got my first client. Basically, the answer is very, very, very messy.
Yeah. But that's like, I guess that's part of it. Like, more of the story is it's not going to be a clean, linear process where you just do like 1,000 whatever or 100 messages even and get one client and then do another 100, get another client. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be very messy. You just have to put yourself out there, and something will work eventually. And then it's just about capitalizing on that momentum and getting referrals, right? So yeah, I think although it's probably not going to be like tactical advice for someone watching this, it's still kind of overall like explains what it's going to be like to get your first client. It's going to be extremely messy and not fun, but eventually it will happen if you're persistent enough, right? So yeah, so basically you just went kind of in person, handed out flyers to, was it like
it was Charlie, it was just no niche. There was no tactics involved. It was just like I walked in every business store and just went in. I got turned away a few times. But even places that were that had like post no bills and signs like that where they're like, don't just approach people, I still just approached the receptionist. I was like, hey, I just moved to the area. I'm a small business owner. I'm like local to the area, and I just wanted to give you my business card to see if you guys had any need for me. I tried to keep it really just like show a bit of personality. And so one of the other clients, so there's another story I can tell you. I got a referral from one guy who owned like a construction store, and I went there. I just kind of showed up and just started talking to the receptionist and being friendly. And then one of the other guys, so not the guy I was there to meet, but a different guy who was like the kind of like operator of the business and not the owner, overheard me just talking like, oh, I do automation stuff and maybe I can help you. And I showed the receptionist how to use ChatGPT just like while having a casual conversation, without like trying to bill them or anything. I was just being like relaxed and just having a convo. And I showed her like, hey, you can paste like queries, and this is how. She was like in her 50s or something, so she was kind of blown away by it. And he just overheard me, and he was like, hey, do you do automation stuff? And we have this tool where we have to track like how much paint and stuff comes through and how many guys we send out, how much paint they have to carry and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I can do that stuff. So then I connected him with my developer and we did a discovery call, and he eventually became a client. But that was just like pure random luck. So I think there is like an element of like, if you just have good energy and you just trying to help people, eventually someone will notice you. It's not like there's no metric behind that, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I tried the cold calling thing too. I had a lot of resistance to it. It just felt so unnatural. I did try to stick with it, and I remember you telling me like, first of all, your script is terrible. You're not making any sense. You're rushing through the sentences. So I tried to improve it, but it just wasn't me. Couldn't stick with it. So I've since hired a cold caller to do outbound. And slowly throughout this process, I think I've learned that it's very important to try to do each of these things. But when you realize, at least for me, when I realize I'm not good at them at all, it's better off that I bring someone else on so I can coordinate other areas. And then I realized, like, and this is one thing that you said to me as well during some of our earlier calls, is it seems like you're actually an operator, is what you said to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So maybe like just coordinating people and moving pieces around and figuring out who, I mean, I think any business owner still needs to learn how to sell. So I still do the sales calls.
Yeah.
I treat them a lot more like a consultation or discovery, where I build out a roadmap for them in terms of what tech they should be looking at. And I say, hey, look, you don't have to go with me. You just take this tech, like this automation will help you, or this software will help you. Just go see if you can implement it yourself, or come back to me if you get stuck. And I think that's also helped me bring on different clients too, and kept people warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you made a good point around like if you just have good energy, and I think you create your own luck, like what you were saying, in terms of it was very random that the guy heard or overheard you helping the receptionist with ChatGPT, but like you kind of create your own luck in this world, right? So I don't think it's completely luck, but rather you just putting yourself out there, and that obviously increases the chances of something like that happening. So to those watching, just put yourself out there, go in person if you have to, email, just do whatever when you're starting, because most of it will fail. And it's also character building, in my opinion. Like you fail a ton, whether that's with emails, but every fail is just getting you closer to the right thing. And it's also building you up to become the person who's capable of success, right? So I think it's all kind of inevitable. I think you were saying at the start whether you don't know if you had to go through all of that to achieve something. You probably did have to, because if you just got success immediately, it probably wouldn't have obviously felt as good, but also it wouldn't have meant as much as it probably does now. And you probably would have gone up, but also down probably a lot quicker than smoothly going over or scaling up over a long period of time, right? So it's actually probably not the best to just grow immediately straight out of the gate when you haven't got any foundations in place. So I think you've done the right kind of journey, more long term, because that's what it's about, and delivering a good service. But if let's talk about pricing quickly. So with your offer, those watching should know what you do now in terms of helping the health, mainly sector. I guess you kind of niche down in that niche with kind of booking and handling inbound calls with AI. What is your pricing like? Do you have a setup fee and then like performance, or there you go for it?
So I played with this a lot, and I think this is also part of a learning experience. So what I try to do is I don't really have a set price or a set fee yet. I think that's something I'm working on, as I will probably hire a closer soon to kind of help me really get like the distinction between a premium and a basic product, and then see if we can do the upselling. So what I do at the moment is I treat this sales call as if it were just like a really chill, relaxed discovery. And I do all the stuff that you say to do in terms of like, hey, I've got another call in 30 minutes. I don't know if I can help you. Let's just have a chat and get to know each other a little bit. Maybe we can do some discovery. And then what I'd like to do is give you an idea of what tech can improve your current situation. And then you can take it away and figure out what you want to do with that. Yeah. So that's kind of like how I've started to approach it. And then I very quickly tried to figure out like how much revenue they're generating. So like by how many staff they have, how often they do the particular thing. So my most recent close was an optician's, and they have just one eye doctor and like 3 staff, and he says like they're constantly answering the phone all the time. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, you're answering. How much would you say that you spend on like an hour? Are we talking an hour a day on the phone, 2 hours a day? And so he was like, yeah, we spend I spend at least an hour a day on the phone. So I was like, that's 5 hours a week, right? That's like $400 a week potentially you're throwing away, right? And then so from there, I usually try to do within the law of the thirds. So like 1/3 for you, 1/3 for me, 1/3 for the business is kind of like how employee business owner contracts typically work. So I'll usually just like quarter it or give them some range within that. And I always give them a really high price first. So my typical line is, which is the truth, it's a little bit embellished, but I would usually say, you know, some of our AI deployments can range between 2,500 to 3,500, and usually they're like, especially if it's a cold call and it's a simple problem for a small office, they're like, oh, we can't afford that, right? And then I'll say, well, you've already got XYZ solution in place, or you let's maybe only try and just solve this one problem for you first. We'll do like a setup fee. So the setup fee I usually throw like 3 times the monthly, and then I'll say like 150 or 200 a month. That's what I did for this particular opticians. I was like 700 setup fee and 150 a month. Does that seem like it would work for you? And so that's kind of typically how I approach it. In the beginning, obviously, I had to like pay my developers and my team, my admin staff, and my accountant. So I was much more conscious of like, damn, I'm gonna need 5 of these to pay for this, and I would kind of try to get the client to pay more, and I would kind of fumble the sale because I was like a lot more desperate for it. As much as I tried to hide it, I'd watch the recording back and be like, okay, I made a mistake there, or I didn't wait long enough, I didn't listen to them. Yeah. But now that like I have the cash flow, I can pay everyone, I can pay my software like licenses, and I'm a lot more comfortable in just hearing them out. It's so paradoxical. Life is so paradoxical sometimes, how like the less you need it, the more it comes to you. Just, I don't even understand. So anyway, that's kind of like how I approach pricing now. Before I was like, it has to be 1,000 a month or it has to be 5, but now I'm just like more focused on narrowing down on the problem that they have that seems the most that's causing them the most pain, and say, let me just solve this for you first for a lower fee. And now my plan now is to take those clients in the next 3 months and then upsell them into like, we've identified a whole ton of other problems that they have, like they print things out they don't need to, and so I'll re-engage them for like some more inside sales and bring that monthly up as and when I can, but I need more team to do that.
No, I think that's pretty valuable actually. For like the sales process, you just jump on, you explain that you don't actually think or know that you can help them right now. So it's just about getting to see like where they're at and if they can even benefit from your services, which is really good just for putting less pressure on yourself, but also them, I guess.
It's more for me actually, I think. Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I tell most people is like, if you're nervous going into sales calls, you shouldn't have this like binary mindset of trying to close or not close. You should just go onto the call with the kind of intention of just seeing if you can even help them in the first place, which is what I think I told you to do from the start. That should lower the like anxiety that you get from sales.
It does, right?
And then also in the sales process, what's important that you mentioned was the price anchor, which I think is really important. Just because that's a basic psychological or a cognitive bias when it comes to decision making for purchasing. So you're doing most of the right things. So it's like evident how you've been able to get clients, especially because it just seems like such a good deal when you do that. I'm trying to think what else. You mentioned. No,
I think there is an element of like fake it till you make it a little bit. You have to believe, because at first when you have nothing, you just have to simply believe that you could do the work to make it happen. And then as you grow the team, then you can start to charge a little bit more, even if you feel like it's not right. And then you can also kind of say like the most you've ever charged. So that also could be a good price anchor. Like I could say, you know, the last project we did was 15,000 a month. And so that kind of like, again, anchors it, and you have to kind of try to be intelligent, and you can use like GPT to help you figure out what you think their revenue might be and what would be a reasonable price point. AI has made things so much easier if you just want to kind of throw numbers at the wall. But yeah, I feel like if you really believe you can help someone and they kind of see that you believe you can help them, I think it makes it a lot easier for sure. Yeah. If you're out here to scam people, it's never going to work.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna have to like figure out as you go. It's like you can only watch so many videos until you actually get clients, and then it's like you're gonna learn so much quicker just by delivering for them, right? So that's why I'd recommend anyone watching this just try and get clients, start conversations, do what maybe not do the whole process what you did, but just put yourself out there in person if you have to. Just make a scrap just to get your first clients, and then you're going to learn 10 times 100 times quicker by delivering for clients instead of just like watching videos, right? So I think that's
the videos trap is so easy to fall into,
especially on YouTube, because there's just so many like conflicting ideas and strategies where it's like you can easily just get in this analysis paralysis state. So
so easy,
just take action and you'll learn as you've done. You'll get clarity through doing, which is good. I guess we can almost wrap it up because I don't want to make it too long. I know people's attention spans nowadays probably isn't the best with social media. Okay, so we've talked about how you got your first client. We've talked about pricing, your offer. So I think we've hit most of it. Are you just using referrals now to get more clients?
No, so I did do a few things, like I joined the Vancouver Board of Trade so I could get like to into the room with people that know more than I do and start to just get my brand out there a little bit. But there's a long sales cycle in that, realistically, because those are bigger clients. And so I think now I've kind of come back around and realized, okay, now I've kind of got my feet on steady ground. I want to really scale it. So I'm going back to the GoHighLevel stuff that you had demoed, and I'm going to actually do the scale up, doing some of the, I want to bring on someone to do like the large emails. I bought a bunch of domains to warm them up. And I'm also going to do a lot of get some cold callers together and start scaling out like a very simple solution, just because like AI solutions, there's so much space in the market. And if you don't really have to niche down because it's a very simple solution. But if you do, and you get a couple reviews for that industry, it just like, it turns it so that you're rolling the ball downhill. So now that I'm in that position, I'm going to put a lot of effort into scaling using a lot of the systems that you have in the system kit.
Yeah, nice. I guess if you had to start again with like obviously your knowledge, but not I guess with the cash flow you have, what would you do differently? Or would you have done the same thing because it's just part of the journey? Or yeah, I'll let you answer that if you have an answer.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't know if a lot of my hangups were psychological or not. Because like the more I learn, the more stupid I feel, because it makes me realize how much I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of that. I also think in my age and having been kind of docile in a day job for so long made growing out of it more painful than it would have been for someone who's younger and kind of like can roll with the punches a little bit more. But if I had to do it again, let's assume that I don't have to go through the rigmarole of like getting in my own way.
Yeah.
I would just basically do everything you have in the program. It's like set up a site, set up a demo client to perfection so that whenever you get on a call, you can say, hey, this fictional client is one that I have now and we do XYZ for them. And then use that to like really, really just try and crazy over deliver for one person and get them to give you like a good review, get on a call with them, record it and be like, do a real like live demo recording of you doing your job for them, get them to give you like, use LinkedIn, make sure you make connections with people, and just try to, I don't think it will take long. Like really, once you pick up the call, like once I hired the cold caller, it was, I think like on the 12th phone call, we got a meeting booked. And then within 4 days, like we had them signed for like a 700 month setup and 150 a month AI. So like it doesn't take long. You just have to, it's wherever your skill set is at and wherever you're deficient in is where you're going to have to feel some pain. But that's what I would do. Like I would just basically pick up the phone and just try and overdeliver just basically everything you said. Like I think back, I don't know why I resist it as much as I did. But that's what I would do. Yeah. Just follow the program because it gets results.
It's very easy to overthink. Like, especially as a beginner, you're going to be so like emotional when you start. Even though the advice is pretty simple in terms of put yourself out there, provide value. Especially when you don't have case studies, you're going to have to kind of definitely provide value, like what I explained with building system proof, like demonstrating the actual product or service you're going to be doing, just so you have that kind of demonstration aspect of it. But yeah, I guess it's very common, so you're not alone.
Yeah. I mean, so speaking of alone, I think maybe that's what part of this process, one thing that kept occurring to me throughout doing this is it really does feel like you're alone, even though you're not, even though there's like tutorials on how to do it, even though I was in the program. I think you just have to accept that you have to do it alone for a little while and it's okay. And you just have to get through that aspect of it. And then once you bring on your first team member, I think once I had my first full-time guy and I had to pay him no matter what, that's when it really changed my mentality of like, I'm responsible for this person now. Like I actually have to put in inputs. I have to be doing work. And that kind of, I didn't really feel alone anymore. And I felt a lot more purpose and a lot more drive. So I would say that's probably the biggest milestone that shifted all of it. But you're right, it's an emotional journey, definitely, and it will test you. But I think like you're guaranteed to win as long as you just don't quit. It just doesn't feel like that at the time. One of the things that I constantly like recall that you told me that got me through a lot of it was you said that starting a business from scratch is like driving at night. You can't see anything else. You just see the road coming towards you. And so you just have to take it a step at a time. You just do the next thing and then do the next thing after that. And you don't try to like play 4D chess and think about, oh, when I have 10K coming in, which client am I going to get? Like it never works like that. So you just have to accept, you have to be alone for a little while. Even if you're being in a community helped, and definitely being on those group calls with you helped a lot. But there's an element that you can't escape where you do have to do some of it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we can wrap it up there because I think that's a good ending. But yeah, it's been great to see you get success after a while, because I know when you first like came on board, I know what you wanted. I think there was just that lack of confidence, which is very natural. But I think over time you've gotten better at building confidence, and that's probably done through action, like what you've done. You put yourself out there and gotten some clients, which is amazing. But yeah, I guess for anyone watching, if they want to find you, I don't know if you just want to say your website or something, if you're in the health kind of sector, I don't know, or just any business that needs AI, 'cause I don't do too much done for you anymore, so you can get some people.
Yeah, so if you need any kind of technical consulting, especially if you are worried about compliance of any kind, whether it be GDPR, HIPAA, PIPEDA, you can find me at greydata.ca. It's greydata.ca. And just you can book a call from there and jump on with me and we'll figure out what you need.
Yeah, and I like the angle of the compliance, because I don't see many people doing that. And I think it's I know some people that need it, so I guess as well.
Well, it's almost by luck, because I was aware of it in the IT industry, but the software client that came to us was like, hey, I want to build an app that records and transcribes conversations, but it's for doctors. I kind of then had to just figure it out and go down a rabbit hole and realize, oh, okay, there's these softwares that like let you track compliance and show you how you remain compliant and what stuff you need, and you can plug that in. And that's like I charge like 1060 USD a month for that, just for that Vanta package alone. And I pay them 700 a month for like the partnership program, and then I can resell that for like 1060. So I get like 300 something profit in USD for that one day, and I don't have to do anything. So like just reselling, like you could resell GoHighLevel. There's just so many different things you can do as a business owner that you could easily get distracted. But yeah, that whole compliance thing, and then I had to learn it too. Like I had to learn all the compliance requirements on the spot to make sure I delivered for this guy. So I'd just be up all night trying to like read through these weird documents about how you can't move data across different international like regions, and you're not allowed to do this, and you have to have MFA, and staff have to hit like a policy accepting document, and like I just learned it basically. So there was a lot of pain there as well, but that I didn't know at the time. I was just trying to get a client to pay me monthly. I didn't know at the time that that would then be the niche that would give me the advantage to like dive into a lot of these clinics. So I didn't know that that would play off the way it did, but it seems like that's the case though. So now I just try and dive in and figure it out, and it often pays off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was great having you on, and yeah, anyone can, I guess, find you where you said. And yeah, any final words of wisdom, or
no, I mean, just like
maybe just don't quit. I think that's a good one.
That's one you hear from like all of the entrepreneur guys. It's like, if you don't quit, you guaranteed to win. And it might take 5 years. It might really suck, but you will get there.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was like a 2-year journey, realistically. Like I really said it from the beginning to end, or not end, but to beginning to where I don't feel like I'm going to die tomorrow. It took 2 years.
Yeah.
And I probably could have got there in 6 months had I just got out of my own way and did exactly what you said every day. So that would be my recommendation, is just join System Kit, follow the materials, do everything that Charlie says to do, and do it every day. And in 6 months, you'll have enough cash flow to bring on team members.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah, great. And subscribe, guys.